Welcome back to our podcast, The Missing Link. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most notorious murders in the United States. It is one of the most unsolved murders as well, and it regards the Lizzie Borden case. Um, so today, Katie and I will just be going over the case and then talking about who we think actually murdered the Borden parents. So to start off, we'll talk about um, it was a murder that happened on August 4th, 1892. Uh, both parents, the stepmom Abby and the father Andrew Borden, were hacked to death with a axe, specifically a hatchet.
What they thought was a murder weapon.
Yeah, they weren't 100% sure, but they did. I think they found a
It had,
hatchet.
pieces, a hatchet, but it had no blood or anything on it.
Yeah, in the basement. And it was weirdly placed too, so people didn't know. And the person who was not murdered, the person who was accused for the murders and arrested was one of Abby and Andrew's daughters, Lizzie Borden. And she was arrested with little evidence just because she was in the house at the same time and supposedly did not hear anything, but so was also the maid, Bridget Sullivan, who they called Margaret or Maggie. We don't know why exactly she was called Maggie.
Because a former worker was called that.
It was called Maggie.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, they were both the only people in the house during the murders, and they supposedly knew nothing. So they were both very suspicious. Um, and they were both quick to be suspects of the murders.
But Lizzie was the main suspect.
Yeah. And another weird thing about Bridget was, or Margaret, Maggie, whatever you want to call her, was that she stood up for Lizzie on the stand and supposedly lied to the court. And so, about in her defense, in Lizzie's defense, that Lizzie did not kill their parents. Eventually, Lizzie was acquitted from that murder because of the lack of solid evidence, because it was so confusing. The case had so many missing spots in it.
It was mostly circumstantial evidence, but there was really suspicious things against her. The day before the murder, she tried to buy prussic acid.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And then
it was very confusing why
at one point she burnt one of her dresses, saying that there was old paint on it.
Yeah, there's they said that she had old paint on her dress, but it was red. And so her best friend at the time was told the cops after Lizzie was arrested, and basically said oh yeah, there was this one time she had blood on her dress and she burnt it in the house on the stove. And so people were very confused because that is very suspicious. But I think Maggie said that in defense of Lizzie, that it was just because they painted one of the walls red at the time, and that's how paint got on it. But another thing that why people think Lizzie did it was because she had these pet pigeons, and her dad would chop them up, killed them, and called them vermin and stuff, and killed them just to kill them with a hatchet. So that's why people are oh, it's oddly suspicious.
Lizzie did what he did to her pigeons.
Mm-hmm. And then there was another suspect, which was the uncle, John Morse, which a lot of people nowadays have been thinking, oh, maybe he did this because on the day of the murders, he got there. And instead of asking about Lizzie, about the parents, about what happened, he just calmly walked over to a pear tree, grabbed the pear, and started eating it. And so the cops came up to him and said, like, who are you? Like what are you doing and stuff? And he was like, oh, like I'm the uncle and stuff. He didn't like show, he was weird. He was very suspicious. He didn't show any interest of like, oh, like my uh I don't know what side of the family he was, but I'd have to guess Abby. Yeah, why like my sister and my brother-in-law were like just hacked up and they're while they were sleeping and stuff. Like, and people also suspect that they were poisoned before.
Yeah, because everyone in the family reported that they were sick.
Oh yeah, like a couple days before that. And then I think Abby said that she was like they were poisoned and stuff. Um and they were both okay, so I think this is how they were murdered. Like it was weird. The mom had to have known, like Abby Borden had to have known her killer is what they say is because she was just making the bed and then all of a sudden
She gets attacked
it's from
with a
behind, yeah,
yeah.
with the hatchet on her head 19 times, like
It's
19 blows.
19 is crazy.
That's what people are like. There's no way that this wasn't like motivated. Like, why would this be like unmotivated?
And then Andrew, the dad, comes back home.
I think he was like sleeping on the couch.
And he was like resting on the sofa, and then he got hit like 10
Like,
or 11 times.
yeah, with well, yeah, they don't have the murder weapon, but they're suspected with hatchet.
And then Lizzie finds the body.
Yeah, Lizzie was in the house the entire
She
time
found the
all this
dad
happened.
first,
Yeah.
and then he was still warm when they found him.
It's really weird because I can't get over the fact that she was in the house and so was Margaret. Like she was in the house too.
Yeah,
So
like
it's really
if
weird.
she was in the house, like I feel like she would have heard something. Like how
Yeah.
would you not have
Especially
known?
back then, like I feel like houses weren't I don't think their house was very big. It
Yeah,
was I mean, I guess they had a basement,
with like
a
every
main floor,
floor.
and then there's a second floor, but that's like about it. And then make I think an attic. Yeah, an attic is up there too. Um and well, there was also another weird suspicious thing that's like really interesting is that their family is like prone to like murders because one of their uncles, like one of Lizzie's uncles, murdered his entire family and his two children. Like he just, I don't remember what they said what the motive was, but it was literally just, I want to say it was like a boy and a girl, but I'm not sure. It's just like little small children. It's just very interesting that why a family would have so much murder in it. And it was like a rich family too. Like it was a very rich family. So that's why people also suspect that, however, that Lizzie did it for the inheritance because they had a lot of money, and she knew that if she just killed her dad, that the money would go to her stepmom, and so she's like, well, then she also had to kill the stepmom. Um, but a lot of people think that Lizzie and Margaret were in on it too. Like they worked together to get that money. Which I don't know. They're very suspicious, but
But after like the trials where like she was acquitted, her and Emma bought a property
oh yeah, yeah.
somewhere else after.
They bought a house. Yeah, Margaret bought a house with another person. They and it was like a big ranch, and which is not something that you can get on like a servant salary. Like she was a maid.
Yeah.
She no way would she have made that much money. So people were like, where did she get all this money from? They were very confused. And at the time, this is like late 1800s. Like they do not have a criminals like a very good like criminal system, like criminal justice system. They would not um, have had like cameras or anything or any high tech gear to know who exactly killed these people. So it was like it was basic like the evidence wasn't even solid either. It's not like they caught anybody with like a smoking gun or anything. They just
Like
suspected.
suspect, yeah.
There wasn't any like solid evidence, which is why they never found anyone who could have done this. Um, which And another thing about the house is known to be like very haunted. Like because of all the darkness that happened there, people they're like, oh, because people that visit um experience a lot of activity. They see things, they feel things. I think there's in the attic there's two little children spirits, what they suspect to be like the kids that the one of their uncles like killed.
There were also a couple more suspects, like an unknown intruder. Some people like suspect that someone could have like broken in, and that there was like business disputes with her dad because
Oh
he
yeah.
was like a rich businessman. Or people think that
Yeah, the businessman one kind of does like make sense because he was like rich and he held like a lot of power and stuff. So I guess that yeah,
yeah, he was also like um
is like a CEO or whatever. I can't remember. I know he held a high position in his job, but
but he also wasn't like very well liked.
yeah. Well, yeah, the whole family wasn't because they were like kind of like snobby and stuff,
Yeah,
which makes sense because like Lizzie was just the way she was like on stand and everything. Everyone said like
she was
yeah,
unemotional.
and she
She
felt
yeah.
she like seemed like she knew she was gonna get away with it and everything, or like not get convicted. I shouldn't say get away with it because we don't even know if she actually murdered her parents or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she also had siblings. Did I? I think she did a couple of them, but you don't hear much about them.
Wait, who had siblings?
Lizzie, I thought Lizzie had siblings
Um,
because I think they mentioned it.
like besides Emma.
Yeah, well, yeah, she had a sister named Alice.
Mm.
Um and they were like it's weird. They cuz the siblings really aren't when you do the research or when you like um just like try and look it up, the siblings are not mentioned at all, which is really weird because Lizzie's such a main aspect of this case and stuff. Didn't she like move away like afterwards to a house like literally
Down the road.
yeah, down the road
Yeah.
afterwards and lived there for the rest of her life, which is really weird because if
Because I feel like you would want to like get away,
yeah, like if your parents were murdered,
and you were the one who found them.
hmm yeah, it was also known that she was a very mean mean girl, which makes
Like she was
sense.
like a cold person. Like she wasn't
Yeah,
very social compared to like.
she didn't have like she would stay home all the time. Um, yeah, which is I don't get how if you murdered if even if your parents were murdered, how you would just stay emotionless throughout like the entire thing. But
Honestly, I think that Lizzie did it, but the maid and her sister like helped cover it up.
yeah.
Cause like they didn't like the stepmother.
Mhm. Well, yeah, because I don't think that's their real mom.
Yeah, they didn't consider her like a real mom. So like I know Lizzie would avoid like eating dinner so she doesn't have to be around her. And people are always like people who know them, like neighbors and stuff, like
Mhm.
said that they got along, but like
Yeah.
if she's avoiding like eating dinner just to like
Yeah.
not be around her and her.
Yeah. I definitely have to agree with that too. But I really do feel like the uncle was involved somehow because he's just I don't know. There's something about him that just I don't think that he's all that innocent. I feel like he and Lizzie could have probably worked together because they knew that and like made like a money bet or whatever.
Yeah, all of them really probably really wanted the money.
Mm-hmm. And so they're like, okay, let's because I think Lizzie's the oldest, so the money would then go to her,
Mm-hmm.
and she could split the money
Wait,
with.
no, I think Emma was the
Was Emma the oldest?
I think so.
I don't know. I don't know. Let me check. Um, yeah, I guess yeah, she's the oldest. Wait, no, she's not. She's 1 year younger.
Mm.
So yeah, so
So Emma was 33.
yeah, so the money would have had to go to Lizzie
Mm.
because she, oh, sorry, because she was the oldest after that, so the money would have gone to her. Yeah, I think, but I really do think that there's no way that the uncle wasn't involved somehow because
There had to
he,
be like a second person because there's no way. Like,
well, yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, they say that a woman could have done that, but I feel like,
maybe it's because like this at the time, like they wouldn't expect like.
yeah, I feel like she wouldn't though. Like, I don't know. She seems like somebody that would hire someone to do the work for her.
Mm.
Like, it could have, the uncle could have easily came by, killed them,
Yeah, they
left.
wouldn't expect like a rich woman to be like, you know,
Yeah.
being the murderer.
Yeah, I feel like she was definitely the type to hire someone to do it because he would have had time to go to the house, kill them, go back to his house, change, and then come back when Lizzie supposedly finds the bodies. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And, like, I don't think she could have done 19 blows to the stepmom's head and then 10 more after that. That's like almost 30 blows. Like, I don't think that she could have done that. I don't think she would have had the strength to do that at all. So,
I feel
yeah,
like if you hit them that many times, like, there would have to be like some kind of like emotional thing with it too. But like, I don't even know if the uncle had anything against like either of the parents.
yeah, I mean, maybe he just wanted it to be thorough, but it's also like people that do that sometimes just get in like the spur of the moment and they just keep going and going and then they like can't like stop themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel she's just I don't know. There's something about Lizzie that I can't put my finger on, but
All right, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and next week we'll be talking about Jack the Ripper.